Good evening, y'all. Again, I have no idea what day it is because I'm not working and the days just run together. What day is it? Oh, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Hope you guys are all doing swell. Um, well, haven't been on here for a couple of days because I kind of just been, relaxing, enjoying my life and not wanting to think about this crazy ass world. And I really didn't know what I was going to talk about, and I mulled around over some topics and stuff. And then I decided not to go with any of those and I took off another day. But then somebody had asked me, like why I left New York. And, quite honestly, haven't really thought about it in a little while since I've been here. And I really wanted to collect my thoughts on that because I really had to like really think about it when I told her like what really were the reasons that led up to me not wanting to be in New York anymore since I loved it so much. But first, before that, I must remember to say like, share, subscribe. I always forget to say that, and everybody keeps telling me that. My other friends that do these podcasts, they always remind me that yeah, you didn't say that, and that's the only way you're gonna get the momentum or whatever. I just like to get info out to people. And when I thought about the reasons why I left and I started making notes, I really kind of surprised myself because when I thought back over it, I was like, wow, those were some really major reasons, that I had for leaving. And it really made me pinpoint the exact time and timeline of things that happened that finally led me up to really saying, you know what, I got to get the fuck out of here. I got to run for my life, Jesus. so, so, and I, now that looking back now and looking at New York, how it is now, like I could never even imagine what it's become. I mean, it's just not the place that it was when I came here over 20 years ago. I mean, when I first came to New York, it was like my dream to always live here. I grew up in Pennsylvania and, I just always would watch your MTV raps and stuff and see New York and think, oh my God, that's like the coolest place on earth. Like I want to live there one day. Never thinking that I ever would live here. It was just a fluke how I ended up coming here. I had a boyfriend and he was coming here and I just said, okay, I'll come. It's just like that. And then I got here and he got deported like after 2 months of me being here. And then I was kind of here by myself. And it was, to me, it was an amazing experience. When I first moved to New York, I lived in a room. I got a job as a hairdresser at a mall in Queens. And, after a couple of months of working, I was able to afford my own apartment. And the rest was just a come up from there. I did well in the salons. And then eventually I got sick of the salon and I started working from home. And I made a ton of money doing that. It was great. And then, I kind of, was making a lot of money and I was really happy, but I couldn't really show my income because I was making everything in straight cash in New York. Like I felt like when I came to New York, it was just like just mad money. Like it was just so many ways to hustle here. And I just took advantage of it. And then I modeled for a little while. And then I had a friend that introduced me to the film industry, and the rest is history. And then my career started really taking off from that. And New York was lovely to me for all my years here, my whole career. Like, I don't have nothing bad to say. Like, I feel like New York was lovely to me and I made a ton of money. I connected with all the right people when I got here. I have nothing but lovely memories of New York until a point. The one thing that I did notice about New York throughout the course of me living here was the cost of living was crazy. Like when my first apartment, I never forget, was like $850. Then I moved to the Bronx and my rent was like maybe nine something. And my rent stayed the same because I was like in a rent stabilized on the concourse. I loved my apartment. I stayed in the Bronx for like 7 years. Then I had my son and I was like, okay, I got to get up out of here because, I just didn't like that environment for my son. But for me, I loved it. If I wouldn't have had my son, I think I still would have been in the Bronx to this day. I just loved the people there. They were lovely to me. And I just really have really great fond memories of the Bronx. I have great fond memories of Queens too. I lived in Queens twice. I started out in Queens. I went to the Bronx and returned back to Queens when I had my son. Um, but what was fascinating about the cost of living is that after I moved from the Bronx, I moved to Queens and my rent went up to like $1,500. And then when I left, they sold that building and I moved to another one. Then that rent was what, like $2,200, $2,100, something like that. And I stayed there for a while. And then all the COVID mess, that all that happened. And then a lot of things started to change. And of course, people that know me, and just in case people don't know, like I work in the film industry, and and like everybody else, COVID, that 8 months of lockdown or whatever, I still was loving New York at that time because like I still had my little money coming, and I had my little, little investments and stuff like that. I wasn't really thinking that it would go on forever and that, so many negative things will come from it. So like during the lockdown time, I actually loved New York a lot during that time too, because I wasn't working. I was home with my son, I had little coins, that I had access to. And, we had a great time. We traveled. We went all over New York. We had a great time. We rode our bikes. We weren't a part of that group that was scared to leave the house and stuff like that. We had so much fun doing things in New York. All the business were closed, but like we went to all the parks, we went to the beach. Like when I tell you that was just one of the best times of our life until until the lockdown was over and I returned to work. And that's when I was like, okay, Houston, we have a problem. Like I could tell that something wasn't right. And I started to feel like I was in the fucking Twilight Zone. Like when we came back to work, we had all that testing and we had masks and shields and goggles and everything and plastic up and everything. And it just felt like, I'm a sci-fi girl. I watched a lot of sci-fi movies. Read a lot of books in my youth. And like, I just felt like I was a survivor in a post-apocalyptic flick, and it was just really, really strange vibes. When I think back to that time, I remember thinking like, this can't possibly last. this is not going to last long, we're coming back. Everybody's still a little scared. Everything will be fine. By this time, I do believe that the vaccines were out. No, maybe the vaccines were out, but everybody, wasn't getting them. But it really started to be where I felt like everybody had gone crazy. Like people were just how can I say, they were so scared that they were like a threat to me. I felt like when we came back to work, they had a lot of protocols and stuff like that. And everybody was asking, are you going to take the vaccine? Are you going to take the vaccine? When we first got back to work, and I was like, no, I'm not taking the vaccine. And they would ask me why, and I would say like, well, I've heard that it's like emergency use, it hasn't been tested, and blah 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 blah. And that was fine in the beginning, but then eventually and one thing I have to say though, during that time, I really did, before I would return to work, and I just have to mention this, the remote learning, I really love that because I feel like my son advanced so much in remote learning and I was home to do it with him. And like, it was just amazing for us. So I say all that to say that uh, the pandemic wasn't terrible for me until it became terrible for me. And what made it terrible for me was when the vaccine rolled out and everybody thought it was their place to tell you what to do. Like, a lot of people knew that I wasn't interested in taking a vaccine. I was very public about it, and I spoke to my union about it a lot, and I was just kind of known as a person, the only voice really in my union that really publicly spoke out about the vaccine. There were others, but I just don't, none of them were like on social media and things like that. And I was like the only one, like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, can somebody tell me what the fuck is in this shit and what's going on here, please? Can I get? And I just was never able to get that, and thus I did not take it. But what started to happen was, and it was the weirdest thing, and this is where I felt like the whole world is going crazy, because people started to be angry at me because I would not take the vaccine. Now I'm talking about like co-workers, people that I have known for a long time, and I didn't necessarily really care about that, because I really don't care what anybody thinks, and I feel like shit, these people ain't paying my bills, so I really don't care what they think, and I still feel that way. But what was the deal breaker for New York for me was oh god, somebody's calling me and it's distracting me. What was the deal breaker for me was when they started to mandate the vaccines. And when they mandated the vaccines, it was just originally it was for like private workers and stuff like that. It really hadn't become to the point where, oh my God, my phone just is blowing up. Like, I threw the phone away. Okay. And a lot of people, like I had people tell me they hope that I die, that I'm a murderer and stuff like that. So now I'm starting to feel scared of these motherfuckers now in New York, because, they are, to me, I just felt like they were very threatening. And like, even one person said I should be held down and vaccinated. Like, I just started feeling like, oh my God, we're not safe here. And like, all the places that me and my son used to love to go during lockdown and stuff like that, and all the places we loved to go before the mandate, we were no longer allowed to go. Like restaurants and stuff we had been coming to for 20 years, we wouldn't be able to come there. Of course, I would curse them out and walk out and make a scene, but we weren't able to go anymore, and it was very distressing for us. And that was when I first realized that, wow, New York has some really strong policies. And New York had like some of the worst policies regarding the vaccine than anywhere. So upon that situation, I really started like paying attention to the liberal policies and like really looking at them and really paying attention. And that's when I started saying, these people out here are crazy. These Democrats and these liberals are insane, and these people have lost their entire mind. And that's when I've realized I have to go. I have to really go. And one of the things that really scared me, and which and I tell this story all the time, one of the things that really was the turning point for me with New York and really the whole country, really, because everybody was doing this, but New York had the hardest policies for these mandates, was the fact that, I had heard many times throughout my life about a time will come when globalists will, gain footing and they will force a medical product on society. I always thought that was ridiculous and it would never happen. And then I saw a movie about it. This movie called Equilibrium with Christian Bale. And in that movie, everybody was forced to take this medical product to like desensitize them from feeling, and the product was called, what was it called? It was called Prosium. So everybody was on this medical product called Prosium to kind of like desensitize them from reality. And then they were easily like controlled. Like it took away their emotions so they wouldn't like retaliate on, being controlled. It took away their emotions, so they wouldn't really ever realize, that the world was so terrible because they were on all these meds. So I thought, like, people would never do that. And like the whole society, took this medication every single day. And like if they missed it and they started to feel, they would run and take it again. And in this movie, the guy, for some reason, he misses a dose of his medicine and he starts to feel. And for some reason, he doesn't take the medicine anymore. His wife was a resistor and she was murdered or something like that. And he wasn't taking his medicine, so he began to feel. So this movie is really the reason why I was like, I'm getting out of New York, because these people are crazy. They're crazy. And they made it where you could not even work in New York. You could not work anywhere in New York without this medical product. Look, I have a clip from this movie. Y'all gotta watch this though. And when you get a chance, you need to really watch this movie. I'm gonna share my screen because I had to find this clip because this is off the hook. Let me see. It takes me forever to share my screen. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming. Which one do I want to show? Okay. I now have my glasses and I can't see. Which one is it? Hold on, y'all. Every time I do this, it's hell annoying. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Okay. It's just a short trailer or like a short clip out of this movie, but just watch this movie like this.
Congratulate you.
I'm beating it. Hold on. Wait a second. I'm gonna get it together. Can you hear?
At last,
I don't have my earpiece on.
peace reigns in the heart of man. At last, war is but a word whose meaning fades from our understanding.
This movie.
At last, we are whole.
But hold up. I saw this movie and I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought it was a bunch of bullshit and it would never, ever come to fruition. Just like the 1984 movie and the Thought Police and all that. I never thought that would come to fruition. But damn it, if the world is not like this right now. We are so close to this.
Librians, there is a disease in the heart of man. Its symptom is hate. Its symptom is anger. Its symptom is rage.
So they're trying to convince the people that all of the problems of the world is them and the way they think and how they perceive all the fucked up shit going on around them is you.
Its symptom is war. The disease is human emotion.
Now, I do believe that human emotion is a disease because look at how everybody was all emotional over COVID. Their emotion was mostly fear and it caused them to do some of the dumbest shit.
But Libria, I congratulate you, for there is a cure for this disease. At the cost of the dizzying highs of human emotion, we have suppressed its abysmal lows. And you, as a society, have embraced this cure.
Now, look, these people are taking a medical product every single day because the government told them to. And just like in the movie 1984, they're propagandized every day, every day, every day. They're told to be afraid every day, every day. They're told something is wrong every day, every day, every day. And then it makes the people insane.
Prosium. Now we are at peace with ourselves, and humankind is one. War.
And it's the same bullshit. Like they try to convince you that, it's for the greater good. It's for all of humanity that you follow these people and do, whatever they tell you to do. The reality is that they enslaving the whole world and you're going to, literally just work for these globalist corporations and they'll be somewhere living rich and living fabulous and everything. And you'll never see them. And they have you brainwashed into doing all this dumb shit.
Is gone. hate, a memory. We are our own conscience now. And it is this conscience that guides us to rate EC10.
And look at that shit. They even indoctrinated the kids. The kids in the movie, his child told on him that he wasn't taking his medicine or something like that. So COVID was just like that. How many families, broke up over it? And I'm telling you, I swear to you, this movie was a lot of the reason why I kind of just did not follow, and I just could not receive what they were telling me. It was this movie.
For emotional content. All those things that might tempt us to feel again. And destroy them. Librians, you have what?
Even like now, the globalists are trying to tell you, the thought police, they're censoring social media. They're doing everything I saw in this movie. They are doing it. And it just, for whatever reason, I just could not get that out of my mind of like the direction society is going in. That's why I love sci-fi, because sci-fi, the future hasn't happened yet. So when you watch a sci-fi movie, the possibilities are endless that is true. 9 times out of 10, what you watch in a sci-fi movie will come to fruition.
Against all odds and your own natures, you have survived.
And then look what they did I'm telling you, this is why I keep saying it's this movie, because over the vaccine mandates, they, was locking people up for not having masks and all of that stuff. I seen somebody get beat up on the street by the cops because they didn't have a mask on. Just crazy shit. In Australia, they were beating up the people for not wearing masks and for protesting about, forced medical products. It's exactly this movie. Like, don't this guy really remind you of like Klaus Schwab or like, Harari, whatever, the guy from the World Economic Forum? These people that they put in charge of this COVID thing, they just scared the hell out of me. And I just could never receive anything they were telling me because of that movie. And that's when I was like, I got to get out of New York, because they have the worst policies and they have no remedy for any of these policies. Like the vaccine mandates for the kids was insane. Like you can't even get exempt from it or anything. And I just was scared to death to be in New York at that point. And New York just had a lot of policies that were really fucking crazy. Let me see. One of the things that really was the last straw for me was they called it, at that time they called it the COVID camp bill, but it is a real bill where New York City drafted a bill, New York State drafted a bill that would allow the government to lock you up, just like in this movie. And listen, I just got to show it to you, because this shit, when I heard about this is when it was time to go. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Let me see. First of all, let me just show you this. Because they're always lying. And I just want to show you this, because a lot of people, when I was talking about this, of why I want to get the fuck out of New York, nobody wanted to believe me. So let's go. Let's see. Look at this. They will always send me fact check shit. I used to get so mad when people used to send me fact checks, because I used to be like, no. Look, this fact check is saying that New York is trying to pass a bill that would allow them to round up non-mask wearers and people who don't want to take the vaccine into concentration camps. Then with a court order, they can force vaccinate you. Now they say it's false. I'm going to show you the actual bill where it says that. They proposed this bill at least 4 or 5 times. Okay, so look at this other fact check. Look at this. I'm just going to show you the fact checks first, because I want to show you how they be lying. Let me see. Hold on. That's not the right one. Hold on. Let me just share my screen again. Let's see. Which one is it? It's hang on, y'all. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Oh no, that's not the right one. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna get it together. Um, all right, I don't want this one. Stop screen. Hang on, because you gotta see this shit to believe it. Hang on. All right, let me get the right one. This one is, it's the Snoops one. Now I just got to show you this. Now you just saw that the other one said, Dad, why is this taking me through some? You just saw that the other one said that it's not true at all that they're doing that. Now look at this one. These are shit people used to be saying, sending me and shit. And this make me so mad. Now look what they're saying. It's a mixture of truth, okay? This is what they're saying. Introduced during the 2021-22 New York State legislative session, Assembly Bill A14 A416 would amend public health laws. So now they're making amendments to the Constitution or whatever to change the public health laws for removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to public health. So basically that means they can remove you from society and lock your ass up just because somebody says you have a disease. Now they're going to try to say it's false. A416 is not specific to COVID-19. It has not been passed into law by the state legislature. Now that is true. But what they're not telling you is that they've proposed that bill every year since like 2016. Okay, so New York wants this because they keep proposing it, but nobody, I guess, wants to vote on it because I think they know constituents will not like it. Okay, and then they're saying this is false. Such isolation centers have been defined by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as places designed for those who cannot isolate themselves safely at home and are not designated as detention camps, as some social media users have claimed. That's a lie, because it tells you in the bill that I'm going to show you that you could be in a hospital or you could be in some other place that they tell you that you're going to be. That's probably going to be some FEMA camp situation like they had in China and Australia, you know. So I'm just trying to show y'all. Now, let me show you the actual bill. This is what really made me want to get up out of New York, because I was like, what kind of policies are these people fighting for? And I cannot find this video, but Governor Hochul was on TV talking about, oh, well, we want this bill, but it's not what you think. And she was trying to downplay it. So that's why I know this was in the 2019, 2020 session. Like they tried to, I guess they thought that they could get it through for COVID. And I guess nobody wanted to vote for it, I guess, because they probably felt that it was to make the people crazy. That's not to say that they won't come later down the pike with that shit another time. But that made me say, I got to go, because these people already don't like me out here because I don't have this vaccine. And, will they lock me up? Will they take my child away from me? Like what? I have heard stories in California where people have lost their children because they didn't want to get them vaccinated, or because one parent wants the other vaccinated. In my own family, I had somebody try to, take one of my family members to court to vaccinate their child. That shit was fucked up. And they won in court. So all of that shit together was like, I got to get the fuck out of here, because they are doing crazy shit in New York. Like, I couldn't believe that people were actually winning cases against people wanting to force vaccinate somebody. Like, I just couldn't even believe that. And that's what scared me the worst about getting out of New York. And I know a lot of people do not know that they were doing that, because people are out of sight, out of mind. They watch the mainstream media all the time. They never even take a second to even try to look at independent media or try to prove false what they're being told. They just accept anything they're told. I'm not a person like that. I want to know what the hell is going on. And like, I could not believe that people were winning cases in court to have people vaccinated. That shit was crazy to me. Then the government saying that they want this bill because it's for the public health safety to lock people up that refuse to get the vaccine. I was horrified. I was like, how fast can I get out of New York? I just didn't have no money to leave New York because, we were out of work for 8 months, and, never thinking that we would, go back to work and be shut down, open, shut down, open, shut down. It was like you couldn't even get a full paycheck because every minute damn show would be shut down and you can't work. So, it's like they really put everybody in a messed up position where they felt like they had no choice but to take this medical product. I seen it with so many of my friends that held out to the last day, and when the city made those mandates, they all took it. You know what I mean? And I was just never able to receive that because of that movie. That movie is the main reason why whoever made that movie, thank you. And like I still have to say, people like Alex Jones and that book, The New World Order, and all of those things I read, I'm thinking, damn, these people are right. You know what I mean? And the mainstream media tries to make you think that all these people are bad or that something's wrong with you because you don't want this policy or whatever. And I was like, I got to get out of here. Like, I really felt like I was a survivor in a post-apocalyptic film. And I felt like I was in that movie Escape from New York. Like, I was like panicking, like, I got to get out of here. These people they want to kill me. They think I'm a murderer because I didn't take the vaccine. Now they're saying they're trying to pass this bill to lock us up. And I'm going to read you this bill. I'm going to read you this bill because this shit right here, New York has some crazy policies. New York went harder for COVID than anywhere in America outside of like California. I feel like New York and Australia had the worst policies for COVID. I don't know why New York was going so hard. Like, I feel like it always is. Now that globalists are running the world now and they are like openly successful at infiltrating governments and stuff like that, I definitely feel that New York is like the poster child for globalism. And I definitely feel like New York, for whatever reason, they want to destabilize it here, maybe because of the economy here, Wall Street, whatever, I don't know. But I just like some man told me that in order for globalists to rule the world, there can be no superpowers left. And just like in Equilibrium, a world war will do that. A world war where everybody's fighting and everybody's using their money to destroy each other, that gets rid of a lot of the population, which globalists say there's too many people on earth. So they want you to war. They want that. And like all the money for a world war and all the countries are warring, all of that money goes to the military industrial complex, which is a more globalist corporation. So the whole world's just funneling more money to them so they make them more powerful. It's such a scam. And I really wish people would just really wake up to what's happening. It's not conspiracy theory. It's all documented. And you can just, if you take a little time to research, you will see. People always try to say, I'm a conspiracy theorist. No, bitch, I'm not no conspiracy theorist at all. I don't believe any conspiracy. I research this shit and I find out what is true. And if I can't find out the truth, I'm not fucking with it. If I do find out what's true, I'm going to warn people. Y'all can't say I don't warn people when I hear shit. And this globalist agenda, I'm telling you, I don't think that we're going to survive through it. And I do feel like New York is going to be the epicenter for it. And I really feel that they felt that this COVID thing was going to be a way to, for them to, I don't know, the COVID thing just didn't go the way they wanted to. Like, I feel like people got this grown up with it fast and they caught on to it quick and people retracted from it. You know what I mean? Whereas now their new thing is going to be climate change. The whole world now has to get behind climate change. They tried to get the whole world to get behind COVID and these vaccines and all of this for the greater good, but that didn't work well. So now they're going to do it with climate change and they're about to go hard with that too. But let me read you this bill real quick so I can come off of here, because this bill right here, this is unbelievable to me. And when people told me about that, I just thought that it was a lie. I really thought that it was also a conspiracy theory, and I thought it was bullshit. So I never really did read the bill. I never did really read the bill because I thought it was really bullshit. You have your lips sewn to right-stream media's ass. Hi, Larry. Our country would be great if people who watch television for political information stop voting. Hi, Larry. I don't really know what you're talking about. our country would be great if people who watch television for political information stop voting. I don't watch television, Larry. That's the thing. So maybe if you knew me or watched some of my videos, you'll see that I don't watch television, Bill. So moving on. So now I'm going to show you this bill for people like our friend Larry here. And mainstream media. Oh yes, mainstream media is in the toilet. Yes, they are. And I feel like it's very disheartening that people. Only thing I can say is just brainwash. Twice as many conservatives watch television for political information. I don't believe that, Larry, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, I might have been a person to think that. Before, but being that I was a person that I refused the vaccine, I saw that only conservative people were the ones fighting to keep the Constitution, and they were the only ones fighting, for people like me that didn't want the vaccine to get my job back. They were the only ones that were not completely drinking the Kool-Aid. I just saw that they were the only ones, and even to this day, it's still only. And I don't claim to be a Republican or anything like that, but I do have conservative values, period. I do have conservative values. Somebody's calling me. Let me decline this. I do have conservative values, and I always have. Now, when it comes to politics, Republican and Democrat and all that, no, I think that all of it's corrupted. Like I just told you, globalists control the governments. What are you telling me to look up? I don't know what you're talking about, Larry, and I will look it up, but no, I do not watch Fox News. No, I feel like they're part of it too. So, how many people died from COVID? You sound like a leftist, but how many people died from the vaccine, Larry? Do you know the answer to that? Because if you don't, you need to find out. I'm not going to look up nothing right now, Larry, because I'm in the middle of my live, so I'm going to tune you out. Dennis says, I would like to study on drug addiction problem in New York City from 1980 through 2023. The surge of crack cocaine. Yeah, all of that. So I'm just going to cover up Larry because he's being an asshole. So let's, and I can tell he's ignorant and he probably took the vaccine because when soon as people say how many people died of COVID, I know they drank the Kool-Aid because now we know after all of the research of all the doctors and scientists and different studies all over the world, because now it's been years, we've learned that most of the people that died of COVID were already overweight, have other comorbidities and had other things wrong with them. And that's why they died. The rest died because of the treatments that they were given were not correct. A lot of people died because they weren't letting the doctors treat them with the products that they knew worked. And a lot of people died from remdesivir and the ventilators. That's what we know today, Larry. Okay, so I want to read you this bill. Look at this bill. Please look at this. Now, everybody say this is, people like Larry would say, I'm a conspiracy theorist and I watch, I watch Fox News. No, I don't watch any of that. I'm an independent media girl. I don't trust, all of those media companies that he named are still owned by the globalist corporations I'm telling you about. The age that we're in now is no longer democracy. It's all now about corporations ruling the world. And they're telling you what they're trying to do. It doesn't have nothing to do with nationalism in different countries and everything. They want a one world government, and that is what they're fighting for. But let's get back to where we were with Assembly Bill 416. Now this one I'm reading from, I printed it because it's just going to be easier for me to read it without my glasses. Let me see if I can open this up so you guys can see that this is real. Look at this. Okay, so, did they put this back on for this session? Let me see. Okay, this is the wrong bill. Hold on one second. This is the wrong bill. All right, hold on. I got the wrong bill up here. Hold on, let me find it. I'm going to Google it right now. Bill A4116. It's Bill A1416. It's a public health bill. Here it is. Yes, this one is it. Here we go. Let me share my screen. Present. Share screen. Okay, here it is. 2021. This is the last time that they put this bill, that they proposed this bill. Now, this is real shit. I'm telling you, when I heard this, I thought it was a lie. I heard about this bill around the same time I told you everybody's acting crazy, telling me they hope I die, and everybody's running around, fighting with their family members that didn't take the vaccine, and everybody's foaming at the mouth because you don't have it, and you go to work and people trying to get you fired, and they treating you with racism because you didn't take the vaccine. So this is around the time I saw this bill, but I didn't believe it, so I didn't read it. So you see right here, versions of this were introduced in 2015-16 session, 2017-18, 2019, 2020. Happily that they didn't propose it this year, because I guess the cat got out of the bag during COVID, because like I told you, I remember House Show talking about it and say, oh, it's not a bill, to lock people up, it's just for public health safety, and try to downplay it. And I guess the people, mostly the conservative people, you have to thank them for this not going through, because COVID was their real opportunity to get this through, and they just blew it up so much. The independent media, which a lot of people, the mainstream media would like you to think that independent media are all conservatives and right-wing Republicans and all that, and they're just not. They're just journalists that want to report the fucking true news. So just look for yourself. And I like watching their news because they know that they're going to get challenged. So they have really, really good receipts. Now look at this. You can see what it says, okay? And they got pop-ups over this page. But you can go Google this your damn self on the New York Senate and see that this New York bill that they tried to pass 4 times. No, three times they tried to pass this. Before COVID. And I feel like this is going to come back again, because this is just an easy way to take away people's rights without due process. So I'm going to read you some parts out of this bill that was a trip to me. When I read this, I couldn't believe it. And I said, I can't get out of New York fast enough that they really would even construct some shit like this. And I feel like they really thought people were so scared that they would fall for this shit, but they just didn't. Okay. At the beginning, it says, and I'm reading the exact same thing from online, but I'm reading it off this. I printed it. An act to amend the public health law in relation to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public health. Okay, that's what the bill says. Okay, now section 1 of this bill, the public health law is amended by adding a new section. Okay, removal and detention of cases, contacts, and carriers who are or may be a danger to public health or other orders of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease. So that's why we heard how she was talking about, because she was trying to get this back again. She was trying to get this out for COVID. They tried to push this, but again, the conservative people that we hate so much and the Republicans we hate so much. I'm not even going to say Republicans. I would just say that the independent media is the one that blew this up, and the conservative people are the ones that ran with it, because they're the party of keeping the Constitution and democracy, where the Democratic Party is for more government and globalism and stuff like that. That's what they are. Go study it. Go research it. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. Okay, listen to what they were trying to do. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier or suspected case of a contagious disease, that in the opinion of the governor, that's why her ass was up there talking about it, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality. The governor or his or her delegee, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local health departments. When I saw that, I knew it was time to go, because we already fucking know that CDC and the FDA, they are liars and they are full of it. And I would not trust them. I would not live in a city that is relying on them to say I'm sick or not, or what pandemic, what. If they could have got this, they would have been locking up people for COVID. And then when you get in there, they have the right to force vaccinate your ass. Look what they say. So The local health departments may order the removal and detention of such. What the fuck does that mean? The removal and detention. I understand what detention means, but the removal and detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order. So they could come make a, they could come lock up your whole job, your whole family as a group and detain all of y'all if they feel like it. This is something that y'all should watch out for, because I guarantee you this is going to come back again, because this is an easy way to lock up people without due process. This is even better than calling somebody crazy and locking them up. You know what I'm saying? They could keep you there as long as they need to keep you there, and you can't resist any of the drugs they want to give you to treat. This thing is so insane. And this is a New York policy that they was fighting for. And y'all sitting up here, mad at me because I don't want to be a follower of this bullshit. I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust no Republican, no Democrat. I just feel like the whole system is corrupted and we need to start over again. And like I said, the only people that's really fighting for the Constitution are, those conservative people like myself that are not hard on the left and hard on the right. They're just regular people in the middle that's like, I don't want globalism, so I'm going to lean more to the right, because I don't want globalism at all. That's what you're going to get with Democrats. I'm sorry, y'all. That's what it is. That's what you're going to get in. That's what you're getting. Look at what they are doing. Look at the condition of the world under these people. Look, every country has a liberal type of party and they have a more conservative type of party. The liberal party is always for this globalism type of thing. But now more countries are coming out of it. And that is why the United States and the West and Israel are standing alone. Everybody needs to wake up and see what is going on. The rest of the world does not want a global government, but that is what we are getting. What else was a trip in here? What else was a trip? There was, okay. So they talk about you being detained, and they say that you have 3 days before you before they have to almost charge you with something. So they can come and lock you up, and they have 3 days to say what they're going to do with you, and they have a whole thing in here about when a person is detained, it can be up to 3 business days before you're heard by the courts. And if it's a holiday, too bad for you, because it says that on there. And when a person or group is ordered to be detained for a period exceeding 3 business days, his or her, the governor's, her or the delegate shall make an application for the court authorizing such detention within 3 business days. After any such request for release, so you can request for release, but they're not going to let you out, can continue. If it continues for more than 5 business days in the absence of a court, it can't continue for more than 5 days in the absence of a court. In no event shall any person be detained for more than 60 days. So they're saying that this whole process of you being in there could be 60 days. They can just come and get you, lock you up, and leave you in there, and for 60 days, or more, depending. Say they could just say, oh, well, Shellie's not getting better, so we're not releasing her. Or Shellie, we haven't gotten a court order yet for Shellie to take this vaccine, or Shellie didn't take the vaccine. So they could just leave you in there indefinitely. And if you think they won't do it, they did it in I think in China. And I think they might have had people locked up in quarantine in Australia. But I know between those 2 countries, I know it was at least one of them. So that's what scared me and why I left New York. And when people ask me why I left New York, I really actually thought it was something else until I really started really recalling what happened. And it was this bill and the way people were acting. And I started really paying attention to the liberal policies and stuff. And I said, oh no, this ain't going to work for me. And I don't want my child to get 9,000 shots. So let me find somewhere to go where I don't have to deal with that. And I ended up going to New Jersey, and it's been lovely. In New Jersey, you're allowed to submit a religious exemption, and New York has no remedy for you there. You are stuck with whatever they tell you to do. You're freaking stuck. And I don't know how long New Jersey will keep doing this or whatever, and if they ever made it where you can't submit exemption, I would just have to, like, quit my job or whatever and homeschool my son, because that's the only option that you have left. If you live in New York, you're screwed. You have no options there, nothing. And that's why I left New York. For that reason alone, is this damn bill. Then it talks about, they're supposed to give you legal counsel, but it's going to be a public defender. It tells you everything that's going to happen. And they say that if they ever propose this bill and it gets accepted, it goes into effect in 13 days. I'm just telling y'all to watch out for this, because I know this is going to come back around again, because if it ever gets to be where society has a lot of unrest, they will use something like this to lock up the people without due process. So just really pay attention to that. This is a Democrat policy. This is not a conservative or Republican policy. This is a liberal Democratic policy, and they have many of them. And that's why you guys should get on here and read some of these bills. Watch C-SPAN sometimes. See some of these hearings and see what's going on. Right now, I bet a lot of people don't know that they're having hearings about the COVID vaccines. Who's doing it? The Republicans. And not even all the Republicans, half of them are crooked. It's only certain Republicans that, are trying to fight for the Constitution and trying to fight for their actual constituents like they're supposed to, and trying to get to the bottom of what happened with these damn shots. How come the rest of the government's not doing that? I don't give a shit what nobody say. I follow what I feel like is right for me, and I want to know what happened with those shots. I want to know. And they're the only people that's doing it. So I'm going to be following that story. And then it tells you, when you're in the facility, you can't act in a disorderly manner, and you shall not attempt to leave the facility until you are discharged pursuant to this section. Okay, so they're telling you that your ass is going to be stuck there indefinitely. At least when you go to prison, you get a release date. You at least going to know, oh, I got 20 years here, or I got 3 months here, or whatever the case may be. With this, you know what I'm saying? You stuck. And then listen to this. This was the last thing I want to tell you about this bill, of why I left New York and why I was scared. Because it says, such period as will prevent transmission of contagious disease or other illness, to require testing or medical examinations of persons who may be exposed or infected by a contagious disease, or who have been exposed to or contaminated with dangerous amounts of radioactive materials or toxic chemicals. What radioactive materials are they expecting us to be? You understand? So you mean to tell me that they can release some radioactive shit on us and then say, oh, we can lock y'all up because y'all sick with it? I mean, this is a bill that I guarantee you is going to come again, or some other state will have it, or the feds will make a bill like this. I'm telling y'all, because this has been proposed like 3 or 4 times. And it tells you that they're going to be able, when you're in there, they can appropriate and prescribe a course of treatment, preventive medicine, vaccination, include directly observed therapy to treat that disease. So basically they're saying you lose all your freaking rights if you come down with some shit and you end up in there. So that is why I left New York. I almost forgot about this bill was the reason why I left New York. I really, really thought that I left New York because I was working in New Jersey for most of the pandemic. And I said, let me move to New Jersey. That is what I really thought it was, until I really started keeping my notes and really thinking and pondering on the timeline of what happened. And it was that movie and it was this bill that they were trying to get heard and get passed. And that is what made me leave, because I said I will be the first person they lock up in this bitch. From all my posts, they know I don't have the vaccine. You have your friends and family snitching on you and stuff, just like in that movie. I knew I had to go. So that's that. You guys can read that bill all you want to. It's on the the website here. You can go look at it yourself. The New York State Senate is right up there for you to see it. And while you're there, I would suggest that you look up more videos. Look up more bills and read them and see what they are, because I guarantee you're going to be in for a surprise of all the shit they try to sneak in on us. Look at all the bills that they've passed that work against us. You know what I mean? And it's just I feel sorry. I feel scared for the world, because these globalists, they really are winning. They really are winning. And, Now that I've left New York, I'm kind of happy because, homelessness, what they say, 700,000 people or something are homeless in New York. 70,000 are homeless in New York. That's crazy. That's crazy. They had a homeless problem before the migrants. Now it's so crazy. It's so fierce in New York that the migrants want to go to hell back home because they were like, hell to the no. I saw one lady say, if I'm going to sleep outside, I'd rather just go home. I know that's right because at least it's not cold where you are in Guatemala, honey. I get it. So this is some bullshit. And people really need to wake up at what's going on here, And they said not since the 70s have this many people left New York. So it ain't just me. You understand? And it ain't just conservative Republicans that left New York. Everybody left the hell out of New York. You understand? It's not, and people need to stop, labeling people and assuming what somebody is doing. You understand what I'm saying? Because my opinion of this government is based on facts and receipts that I've gotten over the years of the things that they're doing and the people that support the people that control them. And this is why you will never see on any mainstream news. I don't give a damn if it's Republican news like Fox News or CNN or any of them things, because they are funded by the pharmaceutical companies and these big corporations, and you will never, ever hear the truth, ever. And these poor independent media people, they're the ones that's risking everything to bring you the truth. And they have facts and receipts. But for whatever reason, people are brainwashed and they whatever they tell you on the mainstream media, you believe. Oh, all Republicans are bad. I'm just going to leave you with this. Go look this up too. The Republican Party was created to abolish slavery. And all the abolitionists of the period were Republicans. Okay? Go look that up. Democratic Party did not get any politicians that were black until I say the 50s, maybe. So you go and tell me, if you look at history and see which party did more for you, it damn sure wasn't Democrats, and it's never going to be. It's never going to be. So I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about me. Everybody, I don't know why everybody is following behind these people. I just feel like in that movie, the people are just so programmed and brainwashed because you hear the same thing all the time, all the time, all the time. You start to believe it. That doesn't mean it's true. I advise you to do what I did and go out there and look at the independent media sites and look at what they're saying, see the receipts, compare what they're saying with what other people are saying throughout the world. Get out your city, go see what the rest of the world is doing, because a lot of these nasty policies that they have here, they have them in other nations too. Even though I say the rest of the world is starting to wake up to this globalist agenda and they don't want to be a part of it. They really don't want to be a part of a bunch of rich Europeans controlling them and controlling their culture and controlling all of the world's resources, because that is what globalism is a one world government. Go look it up. It's a government where corporations control the world. Look at Bill Gates, look at Klaus Schwab, look at George Soros, look at all of these people. Those are the presidents and the rulers of the world. And if you don't like it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna wait until it's too late, and it's not gonna be anything we're gonna be able to do about it. And they're gonna force more medical products on you. They're gonna lock your ass up when you don't do what they say. They're gonna slander you and discourage people from listening to you or whatever. But like, I'm not afraid, like, because I really, really want to save my people. Like, and I just want people to just take a moment. Go on the Fed's websites and look at some of these laws and bills and stuff that they've passed. Look at the amendments that they've made to the Constitution and stuff like that. You are losing your rights. I don't understand why anybody would not want the Constitution, because that and the Bill of Rights, those are our rights as people in this country. And you got people out here burning y'all flags and doing the most and everything, while people are in la la land worried about some shit that doesn't matter. I'm not that person. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that I left New York, but New Jersey ain't far enough away to me. And then I wonder, where on earth can you go? Because the whole world is about to go to war with the West. Where are you going to go? Where would you go? I have no idea. Maybe Thailand. That place is not colonized yet. I don't know. You know what I mean? But what I would suggest to y'all is to get out there and look at some of these policies and see what they are doing. Get a history lesson and look at these people and see who they are. You know what I'm saying? And, look at history. You're not getting anything from Democrats. You probably aren't really getting anything from Republicans. I don't really trust any of these groups really. But historically speaking, as a Black person that knows our history, we just got further in that party, and it was created to stop slavery, and they did do that. Did they have their little racist people throughout? Sure they did. But all in all, we would have never got the right to vote. We would have never got integration and a lot of those things without Republicans. And I'm looking at them right now like they're the only people that's fighting for the Constitution again. And they're the only people fighting for our rights again. So, I feel like I said, I feel like both sides are corrupted because globalists control much of our government. But there are some people that are still righteous. Even there might be some liberals that are still righteous. I just don't know who they are. You know what I mean? But I'm sure they're there. And there's lots of well-meaning people that don't really realize what's going on, but they better start realizing, and the constituents need to start making them realize, because New York is not going to be the place to be. I don't see them recovering from everything that they got going on there. Look at the mayor. He's in trouble. I never trusted him either. It's a mess. It's really a mess. And the people that live there have to fight for their state. You know what I'm saying? This is what I've learned from the conservatives that everybody hates. They love this country. They love it more than me because I sure ain't going to go to war to fight for it. I know when they have World War III, I'm going to find me a country that's not part of it and go there. I'm not fighting for this country, but there are people that love this country, that love that state, that would be willing to fight for it. You better be a little bit nicer to them because you're going to need them. Because if you look at our military, it's not intact. And they cannot win a war against the whole entire world with just the West and Israel. It's just impossible. It's impossible. And you have so many immigrants here that don't give two shits about America that are not going to fight for America. They're not. They might be able to force some of the migrants, in order to give them money and stuff to fight here, but maybe they wouldn't. You know what I mean? So, these are just things y'all got to think about and stop being so like a one-track mind and not being open-minded to really pay attention to what's going on out there. You know what I'm saying? Because time is running out for us. They're already talking about having World War III. Let's see what these comments are saying. Let me see what they're saying, because I had to turn them off because they were just doing too much. Liberals leave their hometowns for better education and opportunities. I don't know what he's talking about. I left my hometown of Pennsylvania just because I felt like it wasn't even that I thought it would be a better opportunity for me, because I really didn't know what to expect. I was so young and stupid. I just wanted to go to New York because I seen it on MTV Raps and I just liked it. And it turned out to be great for me until it wasn't great anymore. Jody Sykes says pro-Israeli AIPAC have a deep hand in Congress. Yes, they do. Funding both sides. Yes, they do. Thank you very much. Blue State. Yes, they do. Let me tell you, to me, the blue states are really controlled by globalists. They probably couldn't infiltrate the Conservative Party because they are trying to keep the Constitution. So they're going to have a hard time infiltrating those people because it's too, even though there's a lot of corrupt ones on the right, most of those people, if you look at them and you talk to them, you can talk to them, And I just feel that they're less crazy than liberals to talk to. I just do. They don't, liberal people, sometimes they start screaming, they get all emotional and everything. They're just like, well, I feel the way I do. You don't like it, fuck off or whatever. They're not, they don't try to force you to accept their way. I feel like liberals, they really try to force your hand. And I do believe that most of this administration is controlled by the corporations. We saw that with COVID, that the vaccine companies, they got all our tax money. Then they turned around and gave all our tax money to Ukraine. Now they're going to turn around and give it all to Israel. You know what I mean? And somebody said to me something to the effect of like, why do people in America, why are they so against Israel? We're not against Israel. We're just Americans and we're looking out for our interest here. And we would like to keep some of our tax money. Like we do need it here. Like we have a lot of homeless people here. We have a lot of people that haven't recovered from COVID. We have a lot of veterans that are homeless and sick and stuff. So we could use some of the money. Like we get it. Y'all having a war. Y'all don't get along in your region or whatever. And we know now that there's a pipeline, a gas pipeline that's running through Palestine or whatever. So we get it. But like, I really would like to see America stay intact. I really would like to not see America go to war and fight and be bombed. We don't hate anybody, but we just like ourselves. So I'm going to leave it with that as the reason why I left New York. This was very healing and therapeutic for me because I really forgot what happened during that time, because I'm a person to not like linger in the past. Like I kind of just like keep moving forward. I'm a Capricorn, I'm the goat. I keep climbing, I keep moving. I don't look back. I'm not going backwards. I'm moving forward. So I really didn't think about it. And when she asked me, I really had to contemplate. And like, I really was like, wow, it was that Equilibrium movie. And it was that Assembly Bill 416. Like that was really the pivotal moment of when I said, I got to get up out of here and I better run for my life because they trying to propose bills to lock you up if you don't take a vaccine. I just couldn't believe that. And there it is. It's right there. It's right there for you to see. And, I love y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime, do your best to stay alive and pray that the rest of the world does not attack us, because this is not a game. The rest of the world is threatening to attack the United States, the West, Europe, and Israel over this holy war that really doesn't have nothing to do with us, and I just feel like there'll never be peace on earth as long as you have these big corporations that are just greedy as fuck. A lot of these rich corporations and their families have been in control like this for hundreds of years, since before slavery. I would even go as far to say even it's the same bloodlines and the same, people trying to rule the world today that was doing it back in the, ancient times of Kemet in Africa and stuff like that. So, I just feel like they have won. They have got their footing, and that's why you know who they are. The World Economic Forum, the WHO, the United Nations, all these people that we did not elect, that our government is giving them more power. Like our government wants to give them the power to have control over the FCC now. Like it's just like they're just giving the corporations all these powers. They're giving these organizations that nobody elected. Nobody even knows anything about these organizations. I guarantee y'all better research and look more and stop, fighting amongst each other about who's Democrat, who's Republican, who. It's just really freaking stupid. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter because we all share this planet, and there is a group of people that want to control it and all the resources. Look what's happening in Africa. Look what's happening in Congo. Look. Stop just thinking about your little stupid life. Look at the rest of the world and see what is about to happen. So that's all I got for y'all today. I got revved up, you know what I mean? And, like I said, this was therapeutic for me. And y'all better watch them people in New York, though, because they going to sneak some shit on your ass. Luckily, the conservatives that y'all hate so much and the Republicans you hate so much and the independent media that the mainstream media teaches you to hate and not trust, they're the reason why Assembly Bill A416 did not get passed and your ass is not sent in a FEMA camp somewhere until they decide to let you out. Okay, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe, comment, share these videos. You could go on my YouTube page. I am Shellie B, and you can look at my live section and you'll see these videos. Mostly all these videos show up in my live section because I really just don't have, it's just easy for me. I say what I say is up there and you can see them there. Like I go live on Facebook and YouTube. Again, my Rumble page, I kind of abandoned that for now. So you guys, thanks for listening to me jibber jab for over an hour. I smell my chicken cooking. I'm about to go eat it. And I hope you guys have a lovely evening. And, don't walk with fear in life. You have to be fearless, especially in these times we're about to be in. Question everything. Nobody can tell me shit. So that's gonna be it for me tonight, y'all. Looks like my thing froze up anyway, so I'm gonna be out, y'all. Somebody's asking me a question. I have a question. Jody has: why do the right support Israel when the same secular group controls the SMM and MSN? You know, even Fox News fired Tucker Carlson. Yep, because he blew up about them vaccines. That's why they fired Tucker Carlson, and I've been listening to him ever since because I wasn't paying him no mind until they fired him. I wanted to know what he knew. So, girl, you are 100% right. My picture is frozen up, so I'm going to end this stream now. And I love y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back maybe tomorrow or the next day. Love y'all. Peace.